If you're racing motocross, or again, I say, you can relate this to anything in life, no matter what it is. If you don't take authority over your thoughts, your thoughts will begin to control you, and you will be your thoughts. So if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not confident in yourself, if you don't think you're a good motocross racer, guess what? You're not going to be confident, you're not going to believe in yourself, and you're not going to be a good motocross racer. Because you are what you speak. You are what you think. So if you think you're a loser, you're going to be a loser. If you think you're worthless, you're going to be worthless. You are what you think, and I cannot stress that enough. And when we start talking about motocross or any action sports, whether it's jet ski racing, stock car racing, I don't care what it is, you have got to maintain a good thought life in order to maintain your focus. We talked about the binoculars, how easy it is to lose focus, or a rifle scope. If you get off just a little bit, you're off a long ways, and it takes a while to get back into focus. And when you're racing at a competitive level, if 1 or 2 laps goes by before you get it together or get your focus back, it's too late. Especially at the pro level, any level for that matter. It's all about perspective. But for these privateers that are chasing nationals, or out there chasing supercross races, it is super critical. I don't know if you've ever looked at the lap time. I mean, most of you guys, all you guys probably have, but I like studying the lap times after a race. And if you look at how close, they're not even in seconds, they're less than seconds apart. That is how fast those guys are. That's how close they are, whether it's men or women's. So if you can't get a hold of your focus and get back in focus, you may have all the cardio in the world and the strength conditioning and the nutrition, but if you don't have the headpiece down, the strength and the cardio is only going to get you so far, because that will all fall apart with bad thinking. So that's where I want to begin here, is on focus. So I always try to use things that you can relate to. So let's use a set of whoop-de-doos. Very difficult part of the track. A lot of riders struggle with whoops. It demands a lot of commitment. It demands a lot of confidence, and courage. When you go into the whoops, if you're not committed to it, those whoops are going to own you, and you're going to be hucking bucking all the way through the whoops and just out of control. And I want to talk about that word, out of control. What is the opposite of out of control? In control. So when it comes to our thinking, if our thinking is out of control, think of it as going through the whoops. It can be a real mess. Or you can go through the whoops in control, and you could come out the other end victorious and smooth. But if you get out of control and you don't regain control, it can get ugly. And what happens in life, if we don't take a stand, we even have a t-shirt that has a motocross stand on it. And that stand, every design we have is symbolic. And it has meaning. It's not just a t-shirt. We want it to have more meaning than that. If you look at them, study them. But take a stand means do not do what you're doing today that's hurting you, and continue to do it on into your future. If everything that you did in the past, forget about it. Big deal, it's the past. But if you continue that same thinking, if you continue that same focus into your racing career, you're never going to have the success that you want to have. It's always going to be a battle, and you're never going to be as fast as you want to be. So I got my pit board out here. You guys can all relate to a mechanic's board. I want to talk about this. And I apologize for this video going a little long. I'm gonna try to keep it down to 7 to 10 minutes so I don't lose you guys and you guys get bored. Appreciate you hanging with us. But I wanna talk about this here. And I want you to focus on this. Are you focusing? All right, stay with me. So this down here are your senses. This is your sight. This is your ears, what you hear people talking about. These are your eyes. So there's a lot that can go wrong right here. There's a lot that generates emotions and feelings, right? You're lined up at the gate and you see your girlfriend over flirting with some dude back behind the fence. What's that gonna do? It's gonna create an emotion or a feeling. This guy right here may hear somebody talking about him, bad about him. He may be engaged in a conversation with his moto buddies, or maybe it's moto girls, and somebody may say, yeah, but you're not quite as good as that guy, and that guy, he travels on his own dime, where you have everything given to you, okay? That's gonna play with your psyche. That's gonna generate a thought based off the emotion and the feeling it gives you, right? Well, those emotions and feelings generate a thought. We can't always control a thought. Now, what I'm gonna talk about now is super critical. So, something has happened, right? Well, it's generated a thought. Well, right now, we have begun to think about it. And we have started to create thoughts, plural, thoughts, okay? These thoughts can be bad. This guy over here talking to a girl on the fence, she just may be asking him when the next moto is. So you got bad thinking going on, right? You're sitting here at the gate getting ready to take off. The board's about ready to drop. Okay, this person here that made a comment to you, it may be good or bad, but you got all kinds of things going on and you're generating thoughts. Things are beginning to happen in you. Chemicals are beginning to release in your body. It's beginning to steal life from you. You're beginning to lose focus. That is how focus is lost. I gave you a couple examples, but focus can be lost from anything. Focus could be lost from your mechanic or your buddy that's helping you out in the pit telling you, hey man, hey Kyle, I forgot to lube your chain, man. And we didn't clean your air filter. All of a sudden you're rolling up to the gate and you got this anxiety going on, right? You need all the power, you need everything to work for you. And this is coming over you really heavy, right? It created an emotion and it created a feeling, and based off those a thought was created. But now you begin thinking about it, and that's where thoughts are created. Your focus is beginning to diminish. You're going away from you cannot afford to go away from your focus when you're racing. You cannot afford to go away from your focus when you want to compete at the level you want to compete at and achieve the goals you want to achieve. You cannot afford that. If you look at a Ryan Dungey, I often use him. That guy is super consistent. Again, I mentioned I don't know him, but he's got to be really good with his thoughts. He's definitely got to be able to take authority over his thoughts, because his consistency shows that. You're not that consistent with not being able to deal with things, right? He's got to be really good at it, I would have to guess. He's probably got a very strong foundation. He's probably got a very strong belief system, and that's what it takes. So again, we go back to the pit board right here. So we're coming up, you got these thoughts going on. Okay, right here is the critical point. Right here, think of your air cleaner. Think of your air cleaner right here. Air's coming in. Right here, this is your air cleaner. Okay, what gets past your air cleaner is critical. Like your air cleaner, you got to stop things. You got to stop this thought and say, you know what? I don't know the truth. I don't know the facts. So why am I going to let my mind run? That person that was talking negative of you, that you're not racing on your own dime, why are you letting somebody else decide who you are and what you can and you cannot do? You got to get a handle on it right here. You cannot afford to let that take root in you. You got to throw it away. So I want to talk about throwing it away. How do you do it? Well, if you're sitting down there on the gate in your helmet, you got to verbally talk to yourself. You got to throw it out. You got to verbally talk. You are what you think, and you are who you speak. So if you're down there on the gate saying, "Oh man, I wish that person wouldn't have thought that about me," that's hurting you. Only think and speak about things that are good. Only think of things that are noble and pure and right and good. And those are the things you speak. So that's how you overcome that negativity. Okay? This guy right here that doesn't do that, or girl that doesn't do that, it's easy. It's easy to think wrong. It's easy to let your imagination run. It's really, our mind is wired in a way that it's easy to think wrong. Okay? It's hard to go to battle. The battle is in the mind. The battle is invisible. It is hard to go to battle, but it's easy not to. It's easy to let your mind run. But let me show you something. When you get up here, your life becomes hard. Things become hard. A 20-minute moto becomes hard. A 30-minute national really becomes hard. This person right here that takes the easy route and does not go to battle, he lives a life of doubt. He goes to the track and goes through qualifying sessions and practice sessions doubting. Okay? This guy has a confidence issue too. He loses confidence real easy. He could pull up next to a bunch of other riders from different states, and it challenges his confidence. Okay? He lets fear dictate his life. Fear is the enemy. And fear dictates his life because of his imagination. He has no control over his thoughts. He doesn't take authority over them. So ultimately, he lives a life of defeat. His racing will be a result a lot of times of his personal life. Or his personal life may be a result, or vice versa. You get the picture, right? Because if you can't control it on the track, chances are a lot of times you aren't going to control those situations in different parts of your life. If you're throwing things at the track, if you're mad and getting mad, chances are you're probably doing that when you're wrenching on your bike and something goes wrong. Okay? Not always. There's always the exception to the rule with anything that I say. Okay, let's talk about this guy over here. This guy over here goes to battle. He's a warrior. He does not let negative thoughts come into his mind. This guy lives here. He lives here. He gets out of bed like that. This guy here gets out of bed a winner. He gets out of bed a warrior. He goes to the track a warrior. He's a machine out there. He's consistent, and if he's not consistent, he doesn't blame anybody but himself. But if he does blame himself, he gets over it because he's a winner. I don't care what level you're at. If you're a C rider, a novice rider, an amateur rider, a pro rider, it doesn't matter what level or what you're doing is the same. But this person over here, he takes the hard road. He takes the narrow path. This guy takes the wide path, the easy path. This guy goes to battle on the narrow path, but his life becomes easy because he's made it a habit to take authority over his thoughts. So this guy or girl has got a huge belief system. They're very confident. Are they perfect? No, nobody's perfect. But he doesn't, if he gets down, if he gets depressed, we all do at times. But this guy or girl does not live there. And if you're going to compete, you cannot live there. You just can't afford to. You can if you want to be average or below average. But if you want to be above average, not only do you got to work out and have cardio and good nutrition, you got to have a strong mind. So this person is full of confidence. He's passionate about what he does, and he protects his passion. He protects his passion as much as he protects his thoughts, like the helmet on his head. And guess what? He lives in victory. Yeah, he may not win every race, but on a day-to-day basis or a minute-by-minute basis, he's in victory. He's in victory over his thoughts. He's in victory over negativity. When he's done racing, he just lives in victory in his life, and he does that because of all this. One of the things I want to say over here is the person that takes the easy road and doesn't go to battle, they're dominated by emotions and feelings, okay? They're dominated by them. So these things that occur down here, that they hear through their sight, through their ears, what people say, they let emotions and feelings dominate them. This person over here, he or she lives a life of victory because they rely on trust and belief, and trust and believing is what dominates their life. Emotions and feelings are God-given, but emotions and feelings can be negative on you too. But letting your trust and your belief dominate you, you'll just always be successful because of that. So I hope that helps. I mean, we're trying to get into more of this. I'm trying to break it down in little pieces and make it fun, but it's tough stuff. None of it's easy. Nobody's perfect. None of it's easy. But I encourage you, like I did earlier today, when you're out there riding, if you've watched this video out there, I don't care what kind of a racer you are, if you're wearing a helmet, just think about it. Think about what you're thinking about. And there's something that I do personally all the time, and it can happen minute by minute. And am I an expert at it? No. Do I fail at it? Yeah. And that is, think about what you're thinking about. Is what you're thinking about beginning to give you anxiety and beginning to get real heavy? And if it is, it's hurting you. So you have to change your thinking. You have to go back to what is true. You were born a winner. You were born great. You were born beautiful. You're great, but you can become a loser. You can become a loser by letting other people define you. You can become a loser by letting your thoughts define you. Or you can take authority over them. So we appreciate it. And again, we wish all those riders out there the best of luck. There's so many people we didn't mention, but we always look forward to seeing you guys. We're a lot of times we're in the stands watching and cheering you guys on. And if you want to watch the full video, you can go to our YouTube channel. It's Faith Culture. Everything's Faith Culture. We also put these videos on our website. We also have a blog at the bottom of them. For you that have Facebook, we'll also be posting these videos on Facebook. And good luck out there. Think about what you're thinking about.